Hello everyone. So today in this runtime terrain generation system, we are going to start work on converting the functions that we have created in blueprints into C++ because I'm hoping to convert this system into C++ and use multi-threading so that we can have better performance in our runtime terrain generation part. Because once we go closer to the edge of the map, you may we do experience some hiccups in the system, so the game hangs for a short period times until the next part of the terrain is generated. To show that, let me go to the edge. See, I'm not sure you noticed that, but there was some delay. If I go to the top view and directly move the character, you see it takes time. Okay, so everything is now happening in blueprints. Now we need to convert to C++, and that's what we are going to work on today. And before we get started, I'd like to remind you, as always, all these project files of all these projects that I'm doing in the channel is available for you to download in the Patreon page. So once you become a member, you can download the project files of all thousands of projects that I have done in the channel. So I'll leave the link in description below. Feel free to check it out. And back to the tutorial. Okay, so let's go back to the perspective view. So first thing is creating a C++ class. So here I'll add a new C++ class using the type actor. Next I'll call it world generator. Okay, create. Adding code to the project. So now we need to recompile the project. Project now includes source. Please close the editor and build from your IDE. Okay, here we got the C++ project. It's loading. Okay, so here is the project. Let's see. So here appears a compile button once we have source C++ code in the project, but now that still I don't see it because I need to close this and recompile from the Visual Studio. Right, let's see. So especially in the first time it takes a little longer to compile the project, but after that it becomes shorter, the time required to compile. Okay, project compiled. Now let me open the BP world. So I want to make this BP world a child class of that C++ class we created, so that we can call the C++ functions we write here from this class. So we can convert all the functions and variables one by one into C++. Okay, so to do that, here now the parent class is actor. I'll choose world generator. This is the class we created, and compile. Okay, and nothing changes because the world generator is also a child of actor class, so all these default functions will remain the same and everything will still work without any issue. See, Okay, So now I want to take these variables into the C++ so that I can start writing the functions in C++. So what if I use the same name? That might cause some conflict, but I think this one renamed into 𝐿𝐻𝐿𝐻𝐿𝐻𝐿𝐻𝐿𝐻𝐿𝐻1 or something. Let's try that. The worst thing can happen is crashing, so not a problem. Okay, one more thing. So these variables should be accessible or visible from the blueprints as well. So therefore we need to give this U property macro edit anywhere and blueprint. I'll make them read only. Okay, this should be an int. Okay, I'll give a default value also 50. Now save this. Okay, let's compile. Now we have the compile button here, and here is the live code in console. Compilation successful. Right now, under word generator we have 𝐿𝐻𝐿𝐻𝐿 and this one is vanished, so I guess it's fine. Okay, if I play, things are still working. Nice. So that means I can copy everything. So then y vertex count. We need this macro. Okay, that's also an integer. Y vertex count, default value 50, and then cell size, which is a float. I'll put 1000 as the default value. And what else? Number of sections, that's also an integer. Give 2 as the default value. Number of sections, y. Let's keep 2. And then here we have section index, that's also an integer. Actually I'll call it mesh section, because above here also we have section index x, section index y, so to make it less confusing, mesh section index. Okay, we need the property specifier. Okay, did I add a space? Alright, now save everything. If I compile, everything should vanish from here. All done. Oh, cell size 0. Why is it not replaced? That's fine. Let's find references and replace. Oh, we can't replace. Size. Okay. Mesh index. Index. Ah, right. Here we can't increment because I set it blueprint read only. So I make it blueprint read, right? So then we should not have this error. We need to compile. Yeah. Okay, now let me play. Yeah, everything is still working. Nothing is broken. Okay, now let's start implementing these functions in C++. So let me get type BP, very nice 2D BP, generate terrain BP, get player position index BP, get tiles around player BP, get subset BP. The reason to do that is because to make it not conflicting with C++ functions. And in case things get vanished here, I don't want to lose the blueprint codes that I have written. Alright, so let's start with the main function, generate terrain. Okay, so here I'm going to omit or discard this part for now and start with the rest, because this is required only when we think about infinite terrain, but we have to first get done the other parts before that. Oh wait, there is a shortcut we can take here. If I move this part in here, this is X, this is Y, this will work. The infinite generation part, so that this check is done before the generate terrain function. In case you don't remember, what I do here is I remember which tiles that I have generated. If the system try to generate an already generated tile, it just simply discard it. Only the not generated tiles are generated again. So that's what happens here. Okay, now I'll add a function under public void generate terrain, and as an input I need int insertion index x int insertion index y. Oh well, I don't really need in. It's an input anyway for now. Okay, now here we can write the definition in the C++. One more thing, this terrain mesh is added in the blueprint level, but we need to add this in the C++ level. So for that, here I'll add a 𝑒𝐿 mesh component, but to do that we need to get 𝑒𝐿 mesh component. So this is coming from the procedural mesh component module, and we need to include this header file. So I'll add that header file here, and you get this error, cannot open source file, because this header file is not found in current source files directory or build system paths. So we need to add this module into our project's build.cs file here. So these are the current modules that I already have. Let me add procedural mesh component. Now still this does not go away, but this should compile without any error. Yeah, so but still it's annoying to work with this error. Here what I need to do is add procedural. I don't get the suggestion because this newly added module is not loaded with something. Okay, let me try one thing. Let me close the project and solution, open folder and close the Visual Studio project also. So sometimes when I regenerate project files, that works, everything get loaded properly. Let's see. Yeah, it's gone now. So you proceed. Still loading. I'll give it a second to load. Here you can see background tasks. So it's still loading. Okay, task completed. Yeah, now I can access 𝑒𝐿 mesh component terrain mesh. Right. Okay, now here in the constructor, one thing, actually we don't need to take this, so I'll make it false. Here I'll create terrain mesh equal to create default sub object. So now we are going to create procedural mesh component. Text terrain mesh now, and terrain mesh set up attachment get root component. Right, so this should add a terrain mesh component, which is a procedural mesh component. Let me open the project. I closed it before. Let's load in. Okay, so let's see. Terrain mesh. Oh, it has now 2 terrain mesh components, which is not cool. So let's see. We have 2 references. Let me change it with this. So now I can delete this. Oh. What happened? Terrain mesh will be okay. Why can't I? Alright. I forgot to add the property specifier. Right. Okay, now let's see. Yeah. Right, now we don't need this. Let me check if things are still working. Yeah, it does. Okay, and we're gonna need one more thing, which is this material in the blueprint level, in the C++ level. So I'll add that also. Blueprint read U material interface pointer terrain material. I'll make it a null pointer by default so that we can check if it is null. If not, assign when we create the mesh and assign materials. Alright, so now if I compile, I should get a field to define or assign a material. That means here, terrain material. I'll add a default value here. This one, 𝐿andscape instance. Okay, now it is here, and I'll use that terrain material. Right. I'll make it a validated get. In case I haven't assigned a value, we should not attempt to set it. So if not, still we should increment this mesh section index. Alright, now we have all the variables we need in our C++ class. So next step is implementing this function. About this function, we should be able to call this from blueprints So I'll add view function blueprint called right, save, compile. Okay, now if I generate terrain, see, so this is the C++ function that we defined, but there is no implementation of this yet. It's still empty. So now we have everything to get started with the C++ function writing, but it has already taken 26 minutes. So I'm just gonna stop this episode right here, and we will continue from this point in the next episode. And thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available here for you to download. Link would be in the description below, and see you in another episode. Goodbye.